And welcome back to Talk of the Town. We're talking about taxes, we're talking about your money, and we're talking about government and what they do with your money. With me is Chris Jacobs, and one of the things that occurs to me is that politicians often, first of all, they want to get your money because that is their reason for being. Mm-hmm. You know, they spend your money to run the country and to run the state. And the more of your money they have, the more power they have, because money is power. So they use tricks, political and economical, to justify things and to spend the money. And I'll give you one example. The Governor Cuomo, recently he talked about keeping property taxes down. And he was going to make sure that there were no increases in property taxes throughout the state. He was going to do everything he could. But when you think about it, property taxes don't go to the state. So he was making political hay by cutting income of other municipalities and state, locations, but nothing to do with his income.
Right. If you, it sounds like he's being fiscally disciplined by doing that, and certainly we all want lower taxes, or at least to hold the line on them, and we need to. There was just a report that came out that Western New York still has some areas that are top the nation in terms of property taxes. Mm-hmm. But I know when that was passed several years ago, that was a two-part deal. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to put a cap on localities' ability to raise their taxes 2% every year, I think, no more than that. But on the flip side, the state was to have a mandate relief agenda to rid of some of the oppressive mandates which drive up the costs, which are the real drivers of the costs of local governments. That commission started, never concluded a report, nothing implemented. So a lot of the major cost drivers, the health care and the pension and things like the WICS law, which require multiple contractors on projects, all those things are still there. And so the cap is on, yet the cost drivers haven't changed at all. And you're really putting a problematic pressure on local governments. And you're going to see governments having some real hard decisions to make. And the problem is it's not solving the core problem. It really needs to be both hands working together on this.
Well, another example, we had a program where we talked about school budgets, specifically Clarence. A year and a half ago, they wanted to have a huge increase in their school budget. And the people, they didn't like it. They defeated it soundly. And it all comes down on the Clarence School Board or the local school board, wherever it is. But when we talk to the people in charge, a lot of what they spend is dictated by the state. They have no choices. So it's local money, but the state tells them how they have to spend it.
Absolutely. I saw that when I was on a school board, and we had to cut staff, but because of the mandates, our overall compensation costs were still going up because of pension costs and healthcare costs and things like that. So it really hasn't achieved the broader agenda of the overall cost drivers being under control.
And it's still a political trick in that, hey, more of your money is going to be spent, but don't blame us, the state. Blame your local people. Right. And that's very disingenuous.
Absolutely, and that's the problem. And then often what you see too, which is problematic, is, and I haven't read this year's budget, but having been on a school board, the state will say we're giving more money to schools, but they'll dictate specifically the level of what's called categorical aid. It has to go to a specific area. And so you may, on a local level, say, we really need it here, but we have this pot that we can't pull from. And so my view was, like, if you want local governments, I'm for accountability, make us accountable, but then give us the latitude to make decisions at the local level. And unfortunately, Albany is very hesitant to do that.
Well, speaking of local, you have a campaign that you've championed for some time now. As a way of keeping more money in Western New York, we go through the local offices for the the motor vehicle
Right.
department and we spend our money here,
Yes.
we get a portion of that
Right.
instead of sending it in.
And this kind of stems a little bit from Albany's kind of insatiable appetite for more. Historically, we at local county governments, the clerks, operate auto bureaus on a contractual basis, essentially, for the state. We're an agent of the state, and the theory behind that is on the local level, we do it more cost effectively and we know our customers better. And the way it was arranged, there was a fee relationship that we would keep a percentage of the fee. So it's kind of like we're a franchise in a way. But now, unfortunately, our franchisor continues to try to take more of our revenue. And my concern is right now the auto bureaus make positive revenue that we actually, after paying all our expenses, give back to Erie County to support other critical services. And but if the state continues to encourage people, for instance, when your registration comes due now, New York State mails you a mailer with an attached pink envelope saying, for convenience, mail this your renewal in this envelope. What they don't tell you, if you do that, that all the money goes to Albany and none stays here. So we've tried to just let people know that, you know, if you're concerned about and maybe want the money to stay here, consider doing it locally at one of our auto bureaus, or we've created our own green envelopes to counter the pink envelopes that you can go to on our website, and we'll actually mail them to you, or you could stop by a public library. We have them at all the public libraries. If you do that, we keep a percentage of the money, 12.7%. New York State still takes the lion's share, but if everybody renewed locally, even that small 12.7%, we'd keep $1.5 million every year here in Erie County of money that can go back to supporting the critical functions of county government, hopefully alleviate the pressure of county government raising taxes.
And the convenience of going to a local office is it's a lot easier than it used to be. You've got several offices around the county. We have one here in Eastern Hills Mall.
Right.
So the wait and the paperwork, it's not all that difficult.
Right. We've tried to really work in making it a better experience, so it's not what you remembered when you were your 16-year-old, like your son is going in. And but when we were 16, it was not a pleasant place. Now I think when I talk to people, they say moves quickly, pleasant workers. We've also instituted some technology. We have self-serve kiosks. We have online reservation systems. So it really does move quickly. So you have the option of mailing into us or coming into one of our locations. We open up 2 more mobile locations on Saturdays. Twice a month we're in Orchard Park in partnership with the AAA on Amelia Drive on off Millersport, and 2 Saturdays a month we're at the AAA on International Drive off Sheridan. So we have more Saturday hours. So we're trying as much as we can to understand people are busy and be accessible to the customers.
And dealing locally, not only will it save money for us, but also if there's a question or if you have any kind of a problem, you can work it out because
Absolutely.
You're talking to somebody. It's face to face.
Absolutely, yes. And we find that a lot. And often people go online to do the registration, and actually the state doesn't get them it quickly enough, and they have to come in our office and get a duplicate anyway. So we recommend just doing it with us, and you'll be assured you get it.
Okay, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the local issues, some of the things that Chris has proposed, and a little celebration that happened recently. I think it was called Dingus Day.
I think I've heard of that.
We'll be back right after this.